Okay, before I even begin... Yes, that is a sticky note that says it is April Fool's with every letter capitalized. I think April Fool's Day is a really overrated and stupid holiday that people who think they're comedians and blatant nuisances just can't get enough of. You're not unique for saying you're critting, doing rebound, or basically bullying someone. If anything, this video is inspired by GD Cologne's April Fool's Day videos. I love GD Cologne. Here's the intro. In 1997, there was nothing more than a black screen. The youth was bored, I wasn't alive yet, but Atari had a dream. Like God creating a light, Atari suddenly made a square, and then two more, yet they were longer. More rectangles formed. This is Pong. I don't just want to review Pong, that would be too easy. Today, I want to find the Pongiest Pong. Pong, 1972, Atari. Pong is one of the first ever video games, and along with the Magnavox Odyssey, established a video game industry, which an alien took down, but we'll get to that story someday. Pong is a very simple game. You control this rectangle, aka paddle, up and down to hit the square, aka ball, behind the paddle, aka out the court. If that sounds familiar, that's because Pong is basically a tennis game, and this tennis game's simplicity and easy to understand gameplay made it very popular. Since Pong started out as an arcade game, you only needed a quarter or a token to play the game. What's even more simple is Pong itself, since it was so limited what it can do. This might have been some programmer's afternoon chore, but this took forever back in 1972. However, that does make me wonder how long this version of Pong I have took to make. Yes, sadly, I do not have an actual copy of Pong lying around somewhere, so as a substitute, I'm gonna go with this browser version of Pong by Seth Clydesdale, fittingly called Browser Pong. Browser Pong is a bit more complex than regular Pong. Now you have new looks. They are retro, wireframe, cyber, firm motion, whatever you decide to change the visuals to. All you can do is change the player and ball, there no adding backgrounds or anything crazy like that. And browsers for some reason. You can also change the scroll cap, ball speed, and powder sensitivity by changing the numbers up for a slower game and down for a faster game. There's also different difficulties going from easy to hard and the inhumane, which is fitting. I think both Browser Pong and Classic Pong are fine. It doesn't do anything special, but it's the main reason I have a hobby and ate 20 spoonfuls of mayonnaise at one time. Long story main channel video, 6 out of 10. Breakout, 1976, Atari. 4 years after Pong came out, we got Breakout, which has colors! Breakout has us destroy bricks on the top screen with a ball, bouncing it from the paddle as the ball gains and loses speed. Our main goal is to destroy them all. Breakout was actually among the highest grossing arcade games in 1976 and 1977 in both the US and Japan, and I can see why. Breakout, like Pong, is very simple. You got your ball, paddle, bricks, score, the ball's left, and a lever you're on. I mentioned your ball can change speeds, which can make a brick behind another brick get hit. The version I have not only has this, but has so many more colors than the original, and more ways to play it. It has one ball, two balls, which also has two paddles, cavity, which has two paddles and 3 balls, 2 of them trapped balls until you free them. However, you can lose 2 balls until a new game starts. Progressive, not like the insurance company, which has blocks slowly moved down with more showing up in random, which gives you a random game mode. Breakout is a really fun game. I remember playing it when I was younger and try to win and or get the ball bounce across the top of the screen. It's a very addictive game and I can honestly see why it was one of the highest grossing arcade games in 1976 and 1977. It kind of reminded me of a sort of sandbox game like Teardown, and I was destroying a castle. I wouldn't mind playing it again at 7.2 out of 10. Pong Doubles, 1973, Atari. I actually couldn't find a video of Pong Doubles to play, but it is still worth talking about. Pong Doubles is the official sequel to Pong. Instead of anything new like colors, Pong Doubles adds a second paddle. However, it's still a 2-player game, because both players control the 2 paddles, which are controlled separately. However, if the ball hits the front paddle from behind, it'll go through it. I think Pong Doubles was groundbreaking for the time. I mean, look, 2 paddles! I really wish I could have found a game to play and get my thoughts on it, but I just really couldn't. But I think adding a second paddle does add a new level of skill. However, it isn't that different from Pong. 4 out of 10. QUADRAPONG, 1974, Atari. QUADRAPONG came out 2 years after Pong, and it has 4 players, where they all defend both sides of the screen, which was torn at a 45-degree angle on an actual cabinet. There's 4 corners that are full, 4 patterns on the sides of the screen along with how many lives your hole has left, and once there's no more lives it fills in, slowly making it a scale. And for once, all 4 patterns are controlled separately. This is the same situation as QUADRAPONG. I couldn't find any games to play and get my thoughts on, but I think my biggest flaw with it is that it seems more fun with at least one other person, making it single player unfriendly. Sure, that's how I'm gonna describe that. Watching the gameplay was also really confusing to figure out what was going on, even though I quickly figured it out. I still think that's a big problem in the game. 3 out of 10. WARLORDS, 1980, Atari. Before I even begin, I'm gonna put a photosensitivity warning due to the fact there are a lot of flashing lights in this game, so you have been warned. Skip to this timestamp if you wish. WARLORDS came out 8 years after Pong, acting as a mix of BREAKOUT and QUADRAPONG. This game has 4 corners, now pointing outwards, a bunch of bricks that change the ball speed protecting a castle, and 4 players that can hold the ball. Orange is player 1, blue is player 2, green is player 3, and purple is player 4. If a player loses their castle, they get eliminated, and the game ends once 3 players lose the castle. Once the player survives, they get a point. Reset until you all get bored and decide to do whatever people in 1980 did. This is my favorite game of taking a look at today. Worlds is so intense, short, unpredictable, and fun. The fact you can hold the ball, the fact there's 4 players, and the fact that the ball changes speed. If anything, I wouldn't be upset if this game got the remake treatment. Again. My only 2 problems with this game though is that there's flashing lights whenever a brick gets hit, and when a player gets defeated. I can imagine someone who has epilepsy or something similar having the worst possible time if they play this game, and the fact that the ball can just get stuck between 3 or even 2 players. If that happens, you're just going to be waiting for it to come back to you. I can see how this is a positive though since you need to be on your toes, but I still don't particularly enjoy it. 6.9 out of 10. Yeah, haha, funny number. Super Pong. Unknown. Oh wow, the first Pong game not on an Atari console. Sucks I don't know who made it and when it came out. That's why you put your name and date on stuff, kids. Just like me putting my name and date on every single letter I type so that way I know when it was typed. Super Pong controls and looks mostly like Pong, except now it has 4 colors. The paddles are colored red and blue, player 1 is blue, player 2 is red. The ball now has a trigger behind it, and there's a meter that builds up when your ball hits a paddle. When the paddle is full, you can do a dash attack which speeds up the ball. There's also this pretty cool chiptune music in the background. Super Pong is pretty fun, but my biggest problem with it was that it felt more like air hockey than Pong. This is mainly because of the paddles having a bit less friction than normal, but other than that the game is honestly fine. The colors are nice, you can play with 2 players, but even though there is something different, it's basically just Pong with an extra thing you can do. 3 out of 10. Also, I love air hockey. Air hockey is getting an 8 out of 10. Curveball 3D, 2022, unknown. At least I'm assuming Cool Math Games is right, because this was the only way I could play this in BREAKOUT. Curveball 3D is just like Pong, except now instead of an X and Y, we have a Z. We can move our mouse to hit the paddle and hit the ball, which can curve and hit the opposite wall. The enemy bot has 3 lives while you have 5. The bot's lives reset once a new round begins, and your lives reset once you restart the game. You can actually get bonuses for your accuracy and curves, which is nice if you're going for the score, even if nowadays scores, specifically scores where you get rewarded for hitting the ball in this case, are kinda pointless in this sort of game. There's also a time limit, which for some reason takes quarters and not seconds. So you start off with 3,000, and then 2,975, 2,950, etc, etc. Below the time limit is your score, which gets added from the remaining time, bonuses, and hitting the ball. I already said I think this is pointless though, so instead we'll talk about the sounds. The sound design is fine. It's very basic just like Pong's. The ball sounds like a basketball, but if it's a wall it sounds like a gunshot. Curveball 3D is a lot more addictive than you'd think. It also adds an entirely new direction of skill. The colors remind me of a 3D model's wireframe, the game gets faster and more fun as it goes on, which is the main difference from Pong. Besides the 3D, obviously. I just don't like the sound, which can go for most games like Pong, but I can always just mute it, so it's fine. 6.7 out of 10. Space Pong, 2024, George Jungle. Space Pong, also known as Spong, is an experiment by George Jungle. It's just like Pong, but now the paddles can change their shape when you press the left or right arrow key, and if you do it 3 times, you can make the ball do a dash like in Super Pong, but when you press up 3 times, your paddle gets bigger. When you're in these states, green pixels show up and float around you before trailing off behind the ball once it hits your paddle. I think Spong is fine, but it isn't all that different from Super Pong, which isn't all that different from Pong. However, for what it is, it's a nice little game to add some color in the usual Pong format. 2.8 out of 10.
What? It just added something Super Pong already had. At least it had background music.
Pong the Next Level, 1999 to 2001. Supersonic Software, Morningstar Multimedia, Hasbro Interactive. This is going to be interesting because instead of taking a look at one game, I'm going to be taking a look at two different versions of the same game on two completely different consoles. Don't get me wrong, there are some similarities, but to keep things easy, I'm going to start off with the more simple one. Pong the Next Level for the Game Boy Color has 5 game modes: Classic Pong, Jungle Pong, Artic Pong, Soccer Pong, and Tournament Pong. We can also change the difficulty from easy to medium to hard. There's a music loop that we mainly hear in the menu in Classic Pong. It's honestly fine for what it is. Classic Pong is just like Pong, except now we can pause and speed up with the A button, which we can also do in the rest of the Pongs. Jungle Pong is still Pong, but now there's power-ups, and depending on who gets the power-ups, the middle section will rotate to the player who didn't get the power-up. You can also deactivate the power-up with B, but it activates instantly and in my opinion isn't that different from just the usual paddle. The power-ups also have a limited time on screen. The music is different from the one in Classic Pong and feels like an intense jungle escape theme, kind of like from Indiana Jones. Arctic Pong is similar to Jungle Pong, but instead of a jungle one, an ice ball, and there's penguins in the middle that make new balls every so often, and redirecting it that hit them. The music is also different, this time feeling like I'm in the middle of a snowy tundra. My only real issue with this version of Pong is that the paddles feel like they should be slippery since they're on ice, but they're just sort of not. Soccer Pong, however, is Soccer Pong. It's more similar to Pong Doubles though, since those two paddles have all the same logic as the ones from Pong Doubles did. Soccer Pong feels more competitive with its music and playstyle, especially since instead of red, red, blue, blue, it's red, blue, red, blue. I like this change. It's another layer of skill to add on to Pong Doubles. I think it's a little too easy to cheese though, but it's probably my favorite one in this Game Boy version of Pong the Next Level. All of these versions of Pong are in Tournament Pong, where we play for the 4 to come out on top in a Pong-tastic quadrathlon. I personally don't care for Tournament Pong, and we just did it, but if you want to get lots of points, Tournament Pong is alright. This specific version gets 6.4 out of 10. The PS1 version of Pong the Next Level has a lot more than the Game Boy Color version, but I just played the first zone. Zone 1 has Arctic, Soccer, and Jungle Pong from the Game Boy Color version, but with a few obvious improvements here and there like graphics, sound, and power-ups. Arctic and Jungle Pong, now called Penguin Pong and Logjam, are pretty easy, but they feel fair with their difficulty. It's hard, but it's not impossible. Except that that's where the next two games come in. Soccer Pong and Clown Around.
All I have is a PS4 controller, it's a prop. Shh. Anyways, maybe if you have history with this game, you're full to the brim with fear, begging me to not go any further, but I cannot hear you. I'm talking into a microphone and camera.
For some reason, Soccer Pong, aka Soccer Stars, is unfairly, insanely difficult, since the blue paddles camp, stalk, and hunt down your exact position, and this is insanely annoying since when you let go of the ball, the blue paddle closest to you can just shoot the ball in or away from the net. Keep in mind, Soccer Stars is the second level in the fourth zone. I myself find it good to stay around the bottom since they had something resembling a fighting chance, but the fact they can camp you is just BS. And don't you dare even get me started on Clown Around, the only one here that wasn't in the Game Boy Color version. Clown Around's objective is to get 4 red and yellow balls into the defending mouths without getting them into the wrong mouth or into the void. You have to hit the platform you and the ball around, but this... Where do I even begin with my problems with this? I don't know if you noticed or anything, but I'm no expert in physics and predicting the future. I mean, yesterday I thought something really bad was gonna happen, but apparently to some people, that's just anxiety. I honestly have no idea what anyone was thinking when they decided to do it like this. My brain tells me, hey, the ball is gonna hit the back void over there, so I should go protect it, and then go over there to protect the ball, and end up ruining my run because the ball still falls off the side. Skill issue or not, I am beyond fed up with this game. If anything, it was made even more insulting that Soccer Stars and Clown Around were a lot easier in getting my footage, and Penguin Pong and Logjam weren't. Just... God. Pong the Next Level is on one hand fun, and on the other hand challenging. Combine them both and you have a fun and challenging return to an iconic classic, but I still think the Game Boy Color version is easier than it should be, and the PlayStation 1 version probably almost sent me to the hospital from stress when I was playing it for the first time. Granted, with Clown Around it feels like it was kinda my fault, but with Soccer Stars this isn't even fair since keep in mind, they are literally camping me. PlayStation 1 version gets a 2.2 out of 10. Added up it gets an 8.6, but keep in mind that the Game Boy version is doing the heavy lifting.
And you know, I just don't get it. I already took a look at 10 different versions of Pong, and it just isn't Pong enough. I mean, I took a look at so many different versions of Pong. How the hell am I supposed to find the Pongiest Pong if Pong isn't even the Pongiest Pong? Ugh! Oh.
Wii Sports, Tennis, 2006, Nintendo. Wii Sports was a pack-in game and launch title for the Wii everywhere but Japan. Wii Sports showcased what the Wii was capable of. It came with 5 games: tennis, what we're taking a look at today, baseball, bowling, golf, and boxing. It also has training and refitness, which is kind of like the body test from Refit, except with the training games. I'm only going to be taking a look at the tennis games and training too. Tennis can be played with wonderful players. They don't all have to be you, but if you're like me, you just end up playing with 2 of yourself on the same team. Very sad. We can also do a single game, best of 3, or best of 5. I did best of 3 for convenience sake. Tennis is like Curveball 3D and Pong doubles. Curveball 3D because the ball can go just about anywhere and isn't trapped in a hall, and Pong doubles for obvious reasons. There's also a dash if you hit the ball at its peak, and sometimes you can get a point doing this since the ball goes out. Usually. I personally like tennis. It's nice watching the Miis slowly fill in, but I'm not the biggest fan of how it isn't Miis you made. Getting the ball to get fast does feel satisfying, and I like how we can play with wonderful versions of ourselves. It's weird, but it's nice. I like weird. Weird is good. Be weird more.
I can only imagine what it would be like for other people, though. I need to meet more people. It's 7 out of 10.
Training is supposed to improve your skills. You get medals after crossing certain points.
But honestly, I just treat them like minigame since. Well, can you blame me?
Returning balls is what it says. You return balls into the tennis court, and if you get even one ball out, you get a game over. I am not good at this, but I enjoy how simple and challenging and surprisingly addictive it is. I just wish I was better at it so I could have a higher score than at the time of scripting. 8 points. 5 out of 10. Timing a swing is what it says. You have to hit the ball into the orange ball as it slowly shrinks. If you miss even one, game over. I was never good at this. I wish I was so I could see the real challenging aspect of it. It is very addictive though. 5 out of 10. Target practice is what it is. You have to slowly hit targets on a wall while controlling your swing speed and strength. The wall slowly disintegrates when the ball hits it, making it look like a modern art painting that took maybe 20 minutes to make after a good session. I always love target practice. Maybe it's because of the wall, how easy it is to pick up, how hard to master. I don't know, but it was always addictive, even more than timing a swing. 7 out of 10. Wii Sports Club. Tennis, 2014, Bandai Namco, Nintendo.
Look, I don't know about you, but I was 9 when Wii Sports Club came out. Also, ow my youth. But I don't remember anything about Wii Sports Club other than the fact you had a day to play it for the first time. And after that, you had to pay, which is so insanely, incredibly stupid. I would honestly rather become the greatest tennis player on the entire planet than ever play Wii Sports Club when Wii Sports and its actual sequel exist. And we'll get to this right now. 2 out of 10 for Wii Sports Club.
Wii Sports Resort, 2009, Table Tennis, Nintendo. Wii Sports Resort has 12 games to show off Wii Motion Plus: swordplay, wakeboarding, frisbee, brand, archery, basketball, table tennis, one I'm going to be taking a look at today, golf, bowling, power cruising, canoeing, cycling, and air sports. Wii Sports Resort takes place on River Island, and table tennis takes place by its hotel. Table tennis has 2 games, a match and a return challenge. Both are only played with 2 people. Table tennis is similar to just Curveball 3D, except the ball can yap, I'm repeating myself. It's just a smaller version of tennis. Table tennis has a few tricks, but I only know how to do the curve one. It also has Sims for Zatric achievements. Sometimes the ball can get shaky from one bad hit, and continue until someone hits it properly. You can also hit your opponent in the face with the ball, which is kinda funny. Return challenge is very similar to returning balls, but now it's the same table as in the match. Also, the training code from Reed Tennis and the table tennis game I'll write by tells to talk about LOL, I guess. I'm actually pretty good at Retoning Challenge. It's a lot easier to control and is a lot more fun to get into the swing too. Pun intended. There are also soda cans that give you 3 points if you hit them. Very fun. This is, if anything, the better ball of return game. I like table tennis. It's usually what I go to if I want to play tennis on the Wii. Watching the CPU and username crowd around the table is always nice, and I like watching the ball go in the pool when it does. Even though over time it does get harder and harder, it's always a nice location to be around. 7.8 out of 10. Real life tennis and table tennis. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I do not have enough stamina for this. A 4 out of 10 though brings people together. Well then. I took a look at 12 games, and I still couldn't find a Pongiest Pong. Well, now what do? I already rambled about Pong for however long this took, Well, when in doubt, give yourself a coma! Ah! Oh my god, finally you're awake! August, what are you doing here? You sleep texted me a gif of Pong and just said, "This is the future." Yeah, I did do that. And when I came over, you were asleep, so I just decided to wait. Kinda creepy, but okay. Oh, I just remembered I had the weirdest dream. Uh-huh. I reviewed a bunch of games of Pong and even table tennis to find the Pongiest Pong. The Pongiest Pong? Yeah, I don't know. Uh-huh, well, what did you take a look at in your dream? Pong, Breakout, Pong Doubles, QUADRAPONG, WARLORDS, Super Pong, Curveball 3D, Space Pong, aka Spong, Pong to the next level for the Game Boy Color and the PlayStation 1, Wii Sports Tennis, rambled about Wii Sports Club, also did the Wii Sports Training Games, Wii Sports Resort Table Tennis, and its little return challenge, and commented on my opinion about actual sports. Right. No, it kind of seems like you were missing one, though. I was? Oh my god, I was! Well? It's like if you combine Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort with a browser game, 4 out of 10. And what about this? Like if you made Pong with Glow 6 and added motion controls to the paddles, 5.8 out of 10. Wow, you all really picky on your tennis games, aren't you? I love me some Pong, August. Some good old pinging and ponging. You don't know how to end this hyperfixation, do you? Literally no. Come again!